Hi, welcome back to A Grounded Quarantine. Today I'd like to talk to you about mindfulness practices. I feel like this is a really important one because right now, in this era of ambiguity, we are tending to ruminate in the past, maybe have some self-judgment about things we should have done differently, using hindsight as 2020. Or we might even be sort of glorifying the past and being very nostalgic about what was and having that be consuming our energy. Also, we might be stuck in the future or worried so much about the future because it's a very, like I said, ambiguous time in the world. So we may be facing all kinds of fears about what is to come. And so checking into the present moment through using our senses is a practice that is going to be very grounding. So we're going to do that today. We're going to practice some mindfulness. Once we've had the practice, I'll talk a little bit more about how you might adjust it to your own circumstances. But before we do that, I would like for you to just sort of do a scan. Okay, so what I mean by that is check in with yourself. You can do a very traditional body scan where you scan from the top of your head to the tips of your toes and you just notice any sensations in your body. Another way you could do that is just to sort of give yourself a number 1 to 10 of how you're feeling, right? 10 being uncomfortable and 1 being very comfortable and at ease. So just go ahead and take that temperature, if you will, to gauge how you're feeling at this time. And then at the end, we'll do that again so that we can see if this practice had any effect on your ability to feel calm and comfortable, okay? So I hope you've had a few minutes to do that. Ready to get started? So I'd like for you to start with a mindfulness practice we're going to call 5 senses. Okay, so we're going to go through each of your 5 senses. And you can do this with things that are around you, using the image on the screen if that's helpful, but also your current surroundings. So we're going to start with 5 things you can see. And just to kind of make that a little more concise, maybe pick a color, like 5 green things you can see or 5 blue things you can see. Okay, now let's close your eyes and see if you can find 4 things that you can hear. Okay, now 3 things that you can feel. 2 things that you can smell. And 1 thing that you can taste. All right, now check back in. Maybe you did a body scan, or maybe you did the number thing. Take a litmus test and see, has that experience changed for you? Do you feel a little more grounded, hopefully? I'm hoping that was your experience. Some changes that you can make to this, you can literally pick up any object. So I'm going to pick up my keys because they're just comfortably right here. I know I've got a lot of them. Okay, so if I was going to do a mindfulness practice with this set of keys, I might identify these 3 that are black, right? And then I might identify that these 2 have red buttons. I might say that I have 2 of these plastic bits. And also this one that's green. I might look at the keys that are similarly shaped. Right? Got keys that look the same. I might count the keys that are a little different. I might look at the different colors, right? So I've got kind of goldy ones and more silver ones. I might feel the weight of them. I'm tempted not to smell them, but you could do that, or taste them. But this is just a way that you can take something and spend your time identifying what you see, your experience of the thing, and that can calm you down. And it can literally be anything. we'll take one more example. So here's a pin that I dropped, and now I'm picking up. Here's a pin, okay? So again, I can look at, there's a little black ball in the top, and then the black of the ridge, the rest of where your fingers go, and then the black ink inside the pen, black tip. I can look at the, I don't know if you can see this, the silver lettering. I can pay attention to the different texts or fonts that are on here. The parts that are translucent, I can see that. This rest has some little indentations on it. I can hold the pen and feel the weight of it. I can notice the difference in the thickness and the weight of this side versus this side. So, you know, I'm basically just talking about the detail here, but that's important because when you talk about the detail of something, when I'm focusing on the detail of something, that's where my energy is, in that present moment. It's not in the past, it's not in the future. I'm not comparing this pen to pens of past. I'm not comparing this pen to pens of future, right? It's just a pen, and I'm just spending time being clear about it and expressing what I'm finding in it, okay? So some of those were kind of silly practices, but the point is that you can practice mindfulness in any way just by tapping into your sensory awareness, okay? So you can do mindful eating. You can look at your plate and identify the colors, the different shapes that are present. You can be mindful as you chew your food and feeling the textures, feeling the flavors that are available in each bite. The way that the fork or the knife or spoon, whatever you're using, affects the food, sinks into the food or scoops the food, the weight of the food on the utensil. So it's really about just slowing down and immersing yourself in that sensory awareness. Walking is another way. So most of the time we can walk mindlessly, or we can walk with our mind full of all kinds of junk. But if we're walking and we're feeling the way that our heel strikes and the way that our weight adjusts as we move onto our foot, and our weight is distributed on each foot as we walk, right? We can feel how that feels in our legs, in our hips, in our belly, all the way up to our head, right? So just being really aware and immersing yourself, like I said, in that sensory awareness, you can do it with anything that you're doing. And I would encourage you to do this. Take little sips of it throughout the day, just to have that moment of ground, so that all of this ambiguity, all of this discomfort that's available to us right now is something you can take a break from. It's going to be there. It'll still be there when you stop, but hopefully it won't be so overwhelming. And you, as you take these little breaks, will have a much better chance of being able to handle that overwhelming feeling. I hope this has been helpful. As I try to wrap everyone up with, make sure that you eat the avocado, leave the peel, and plant the seed. Thank you.